Man, this movie gets old real quick. Matt the Matt here. And here, I am here to talk about a new movie. Oh, M. Night Shyamalan, Shamhammer, Shyamalani, Shyamalana Ding Dong, whatever you want to call him, has a new movie. About time. Not only that, but it's about time that he has a movie in the summertime. It's been a while since Shyamalan had a movie in the summer. You see, people, back in the day, before a guy named Christopher Nolan came around, you know, when you said the name M. Night Shyamalan, you didn't care who was in the movie. Just the name, Shyamalan. You were one of those people that rushed to the theater. It didn't matter. Between 99 and really 2006, if you were told there's a new M. Night Shyamalan movie, you were going to the movie theater, and the movies came out in the summertime, July of 2002, July of 2004, July of 2006. That was a time that, like I said, before Shyamalan, there was Spielberg. You just had to say the name Spielberg, and people would rush to the theater. Didn't matter what movie it was, didn't matter what kind of movie, it didn't matter who was in the movie. You say the name Spielberg, and people would come. Like I'm saying in Spielberg, you build it, they will come. You make it, they will come. You have the name Spielberg, they will come. You have the name in the early 2000s to mid 2000s, you have the name Shyamalan, people would come. That's just how it went. And then come, by 2005, in the present now, you got Christopher Nolan. You say Nolan, people will come. Now, back in the day, Shyamalan was the director. I mean, they're the director besides Spielberg that I would run to the movie theater to see. It was Shyamalan. I still contend to this day that The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, and even The Village are still pretty great movies. Now, people can, yes, The Village, and my light went out again, but I'm going to continue. I will still contend that The Village, even with the two twists it had in the movie, it still had great acting, one of the best ensembles. It had the best cinematography by Roger Deakins, probably in any M. Night Shyamalan movie, and the score by James Newton Howard. It's probably the second best score in an M. Night Shyamalan movie, other than Unbreakable, which probably has the best cinematography in M. Night Shyamalan's filmography. So, then after 2006 with Lady in the Water, Shyamalan went down. After Lady in the Water, I did not see an M. Night Shyamalan movie until 2017 with Split. So I went over 11 years from July 2006 till January 2017 without seeing an M. Night. And I still have not seen to this day The Happening, After Earth, The Last Airbender. I did see The Visit. That one came out in 2015. After I saw Split, I went back and watched The Visit, because I heard that one was actually pretty good. And I do agree. I think The Visit was a pretty good, very, very, very small budget film that had a nice twist to it. And Split was just, before we even get to the ending of Split, Split in general was a very good movie. Definitely up there, I would say, up there with some of the best Shyamalan films. And now we have, and then Glass was a disappointment. to follow up the Split and Unbreakable. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't bad, it was just disappointing coming off of, like I said, Unbreakable and Split. For a third and final film in the trilogy, it kind of let me down. And I know a lot of people were let down. But now we have a new film, Old. Old is about a family going on vacation. When they're on this island, someone mentions on the other side of the island you'll be more secluded. They go there with other strangers are there, and then before you know it, they start getting older quicker. Minutes and hours feel like years pass by. The kids from 6-year-old and 10-year-old become teenagers in the matter of minutes. I remember seeing the trailer back in February on Super Bowl Sunday, and it intrigued me. And I thought, this is like an interesting M. Night Shyamalan film. But like I said at the beginning, this movie gets old real quickly. No pun intended with the actual movie itself. But let's get into it. The positives. Vicky Krieps. She plays the mom in the movie. Some people might remember her from the Paul Thomas Anderson film and Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread. She was very good in this. She is very good in this movie too. With all the actors I talk about, getting into one of the negatives, the dialogue, these actors make the horrible dialogue seem okay. Because they're good actors. Vicky Krieps, very good in the movie. Alex Wolff plays the son, the teenage son. He also does an excellent job in the movie for some of the material that he has to deal with. Thomasin McKenzie, well, I said this before, this is an actress that you should be following and keeping an eye on. We saw her in Jojo Rabbit with Scarlett Johansson in 2019. She was very good in that. She's going to be in the new Edgar Wright film, Last Night in Soho, in October. She also does a very good job with the horrible dialogue she's given. The concept in this movie and the theme of this movie is pretty genius. That's one thing you say about M. Night. M. Night is like Christopher Nolan. He'll go for the out there ideas, with the grand concepts. You know, you look at like Nolan with Inception, or Interstellar, or even last year's Tenet. Where Tenet, he went full, grand scale concept, like out the window, like how did you come up with this? But at least with Nolan, 90% of the time, his films hit the mark. Inception, one of the best sci-fi films in the past decade. Interstellar, one of the best space adventures in the past decade, in my opinion. Tenet missed the mark a little bit. And that's just like with Shyamalan. You look at The Sixth Sense. You look at Unbreakable. Unbreakable, a superhero film way ahead of its time, that at the time everyone kind of wrote off. Like, oh, that's tough. But now you're like, no, that's one of the best superhero films ever made. And the concept and the ideas in that film, you think how and the themes that Shyamalan put together in that movie. And then even with Signs, people want to talk about the twist in Signs. If you actually watch the movie Signs, it actually is a brilliant twist. And then even The Village has some interesting ideas and concept ideas. And once again, Old has that interesting concept of, and the theme of, don't take your life for granted. Time, before you know it, you're born and then you die. Don't waste that time, not doing anything. Don't waste that time just laying around. Don't waste time. Because time goes by so quickly That before you know it, you're a teenager. And then before you know it, you're an adult. Then before you know it, you're an, old grandparent even. Old person. And then you're dead. Or you might not be able to live a full life. So your life might get cut short. So don't waste that opportunity. And I love that, once again, the concept and the themes were good. The actual the actual overall message and overall delivery, not so good. This movie has humor in it. Some of the humor is good humor, some of the humor is, I don't think you're supposed to be laughing. But there are some moments that you're laughing that you probably shouldn't be laughing in the movie. And those are my positives. My negatives, dialogue. This has to be one of the worst written scripts in terms of dialogue I have ever seen in a long time. If it wasn't for the cast, that you are very good actors, I can only imagine how bad the dialogue would have been in the hands of like a Michael Cera. Okay? Or even a Jesse Eisenberg. It's unbelievable how bad the dialogue is. It is almost like somebody was reading off of a note card and they green screened the note card out of the shot. And M. Night just said, okay, just read off the note card. Without any emotion, without anything. Just read it like you're a robot. Hi, I am a doctor. What do you do? Oh, I am a nurse. I mean, it was like so robotic that it was like I think a critic even said, they're like, I thought the twist of the movie was going to mean that these are all robots. That might have been a better twist in the movie. It would have made sense of why the dialogue is so horrible. Horrible at times. Another thing, this movie's only an hour and 48 minutes. But for some reason in the last 15 to 20 minutes, you think the movie's going to end at a certain point. But then it goes on to another scene. And then you think, okay, there's the twist. Okay, we got it. And you think, okay, the movie's going to end now. Then the movie keeps going. Then you think, okay, the movie's going to end now. And then it keeps going. And I'm like, this is not Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King here. We don't need 20 endings. At least that made sense because it was a trilogy. This is an hour and 48 minute movie. Why do we have like 5 endings to this film? Too much. Also, M. Night Shyamalan establishes rules on this island. But for some reason, the rules only apply to the kids. The kids get older. But the parents and the adults in this film never get older. You never see the aging. Yeah, they do here's a minor spoiler. For the mother, instead of seeing her get older and older and older, you just show her losing her hearing by covering up one ear, and then you don't hear anything. And then she takes her hand off her ear. Then she can hear a little bit. So she's losing her hearing because she's getting old. Which, there are people in their 20s that lose their hearing. I mean, there are people that are born deaf. I mean, I can't hear. So, then like the father, his eyes go blurry. That means he's getting older. There's people, you know how many people to this day wear contacts or glasses. So, that are, like 5 years old. I mean, but they never age. None of the adults in this movie age ever. So I think that was one of those things where they, okay, you set up rules, but you're not following them at all. Now, for granted, this movie only cost about $10 million to make. Maybe it was in the budget that they couldn't do the old makeup effects perfectly, and they said, you know what, we'll just get other actors to play the kids as they get older. But then in that case, just recast the adults for older people. Like Interstellar, where no one cast, a young Murph, an adult Murph. You had Mackenzie Foy as a young Murph. You had Jessica Chastain as the adult Murph. And then you had Ellen Bernstein playing the, old Murph. Like in her 80s. I mean, why not just do that? So the rules were not, fully developed or fully committed to. Another thing, things are not explored in this movie. You see it in the trailer. The kids go from little to teenagers, and there's no, questioning, there's no contemplating, there's no downtime to really take it in. And then you see a scene where a 6-year-old becomes a teenager, and then she's pregnant, then she has the baby, and you go, there's no processing, there's no coming to terms with what we're just seeing. It just happens. And it's like, anyone gonna talk about this? You generally just had a 6-year-old have a baby. You generally just had a 6-year-old have sex with another 6-year-old, have a baby, pregnant, then have a baby, and then the baby dies. And we're not going to explore that at all. Not to mention, as M. Night Shyamalan, you go, what were you thinking when you wrote that? I really want to know the thought process of having a 6-year-old who still has the mind of a 6-year-old, by the way. Just because they grow up, they get older, their mind is still the same. So explain how a 6-year-old is having sex with another 6-year-old. That's all. Hollywood. There you go. First thing I am going to talk about is M. Night. You're a director. You're not an actor. As much as you want to be an actor, you're not an actor. It's one thing to be a cameo in your movie. You did it in The Sixth Sense. You did it in Unbreakable. You did it in Signs. You did it in The Village. You do it in all your movies. Lady in the Water, you were like the main actor in that movie. But in The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, you have one scene in those movies. One quick scene. You know what? Hitchcock used to have cameos in his own movies. Sometimes you would barely see him. He would be in the background. Or he would just show up 2 seconds on screen. It's like Stan Lee, the late Stan Lee, showing up in all the Marvel movies. Guess what? He's in there for one little quick scene, maybe less than 5 seconds, and that's it. M. Night, you're not an actor. Stop being in your movies. I really thought by now we get to the twist in this movie, I was like, oh no. Please do not tell me that M. Night is behind all this. Like the character he's playing. I'd be like, no. That is like, that would end up being Lady in the Water territory. But he's not the man behind it. I'll just say that. But I will say, he has about 3 or 4 scenes in this movie. And I'm like, why are you in the movie? You're not an actor. Get out. Go. I make my movies. Am I in my movies? No. And guess what? I'm not an actor. I didn't go to acting school. That was my sister. She was the actress growing up. But I'm not the actor, you know? So, if I needed an actor, then I would go to my sister. I wouldn't put myself in the movie. Or I would, once again, have auditions and get actors to be in my movie. But I wouldn't put myself in my movie. Sorry. I'm not that good. But yeah. Overall, this was another disappointing film between Glass and Old. I feel like M. Night hit it with Split. He went back up between The Visit and Split. And then he went down with Glass and now Old. I don't know what to say. M. Night, you used to be the king. Time Magazine even coined you the next Spielberg. And we're not seeing it. So, overall, I give this movie a 3 out of 5. Like I said, other than for the performances, there's really nothing special about this movie. I was kind of disappointed. Really disappointed. I thought the concept was interesting. And the cast was really good. But overall, I'd say a 3 out of 5. I would say wait. Maybe when it shows up on Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or wherever, and you can watch it for free. Then that way, after an hour or so, if you're like, I don't care, you can turn it off. But I would say 3 out of 5. Thank you. Once again, like and subscribe to the channel. Attack Matt Podcast. And like I said, subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe, you'll know when you'll get a notification when a new podcast video is online. And that way you know what movies to go see or what movies not to see. Why not? You got money? You don't want to waste your money, like I did. I'm helping you out. Help me, help you. Help me, help you.